In this video, we're going to be talking about how to promote a church, and I'm going to show you a marketing principle that we can learn from Apple that you can apply directly to your church website coming up. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. So welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're gonna be walking through how to promote a church, and I'm gonna show you the number one thing that you're probably doing that's actually keeping people away on Sunday morning. So let's dive in. All right, so number one, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Now, why is this important if we're trying to promote our church? Well, we need to get buy-in and we need to cast vision, but it's important to know that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Now, Simon Sinek has an incredible TED Talk about this, and in it, he actually talks about something he calls the golden circle. It's basically three circles inside of each other, right? Kind of like a target. And basically on the outside of the target is what? And pretty much everybody knows what they do. And some people on the inner circle, which is how, some people actually know how they do it, right? A proprietary formula or a special recipe or their unique mechanism, right? But very few people know the center of the target, which is why you do it. And so think about it. Think about the way that brands and organizations communicate, and they always tell you what they do. Some of them tell you how they do it, but how many people actually explain why they do it? So one of the best examples of this is if you look at Apple. Right? Apple has been dominating the market for years, right? What makes them so different? Well, they are one of the few people that communicate from their why. They talk about their why first. While everyone else is talking about what they do, Apple starts with why they do it. So if Apple were like everyone else, then a typical marketing message from them might sound something like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Not very inspiring. Right? They talked about what they did. And that's how most of us usually communicate. We talk about what we do or how we're different or why we're better than the competition. But that rarely inspires, and it just sounds like everything else out there. But here's how Apple actually communicates. In everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way that we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Totally different, right? It completely flips the script and completely changes the game because Apple communicated their why first, right? In everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way that we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. It just so happens we make great computers. Want to buy one? And Apple does this so well in everything that they do. This is why all of us have no problem buying iPhones and iPads and laptops and desktops, and we'll buy them for our entire staff because we line up with Apple's core values. We line up with their why. Anyone out there who thinks differently or thinks creatively or wants to challenge the status quo immediately is drawn to Apple. In fact, several years ago, if you were a creative, you weren't considered a real creative unless you had an Apple. Right? And you would go around and you would ask people, graphic designers and video editors, and they would all say, oh yeah, if you're gonna be a creative, you have to have a Mac. And so I would ask them, why? And none of them could tell me. Say, oh, well, it runs Photoshop, but so does a PC. Oh, well, it runs my video editing software, but so does a PC. In fact, PCs actually run more photo editing software and video editing software. What was it about Macs? The thing that they didn't understand is that it actually had nothing to do with the software or the way that they performed. Sure, the operating systems are different and it's a little smoother and easier on a Mac, but that's not why. They did it without even thinking about it. They bought into Apple's why. They believed in thinking differently, they believed in challenging the status quo, and so they had no problem paying a premium for Apple products. All right, so what does this look like in the church world? So I was actually on two very different church websites recently, and the experience was much like that of the two different marketing messages that I just shared with you from Apple. So let's take a look at the first one and see what you think and whether or not you'd want to go visit that church on Sunday. On the first website, the very first thing that you saw when you went to their website said this: "It is vitally important that churches remain doctrinally pure. Nearly every New Testament book includes some form of warning against false teaching. The points of our statement of faith are not exhaustive to what we believe, but do provide safety rails for preserving sound doctrine." You want to go to church on Sunday? Now, while that may or may not be true, and that's definitely something that they obviously believe, that's the very first thing that they're talking about to people, right? They're talking about the what. What they're trying to do is make themselves sound different than other churches, but they're still talking about the what. They're not talking about the why. So contrast that with the second website that I was on and take a look at the difference. Now, the second website was for Crossroads Church, and this is the first thing you saw when you get to the website. You were born for adventure. You were born to make a difference, designed to partner with God to change the world for good. If that sounds like your type of adventure, Crossroads is your spiritual outfitter. I don't know about you, I'm ready to go to church on Sunday, right? So what's the difference in these two? Well, one of them was talking about what they do, or they were even trying to talk about what makes them different or how they were better. But the second one puts me at the center of the story. They put you at the center of the story. They're talking about their why without saying, this is our why. They're essentially saying, we believe that you were born for adventure, that you were born to make a difference, that you are designed to partner with God himself to change the world for good. Now, if that sounds like your type of adventure, then Crossroads is your spiritual outfitter. See how different that is? They're communicating their why, and they're putting us in the center of the story. They're inviting us into the story. And so what's great is if you hate adventure and you don't believe that you're designed to partner with God, that church is going to be a terrible fit for you anyway. So what this does is it actually attracts the people who believe what they believe, and it repels the people that don't. Right? So if you believe in a spirit of adventure and you believe you were designed to change the world and partner with God, and you believe that you're put on this earth to make a difference, man, you are going to run to that second church, right? Because they're communicating their why. And so we need to remember these principles whenever we are writing copy for our website, or whenever we're creating a Facebook ad, or we're creating social media posts, or even if we're creating invite cards or any type of a collateral that a potential first-time visitor might see. We need to make sure to communicate our why, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. All right, number 2, cute and clever don't attract new visitors. Clarity attracts new visitors. So this is a common mistake that a lot of churches make, but don't try to be cute or clever. Don't try to use clever acronyms or a play on words when it comes to naming your ministries or some of your church events. Instead, aim for clarity. Clarity wins every single time, because if you confuse someone by trying to be cute or clever, confused people will never visit on Sunday. But if you opt for clarity and you clearly talk about what it is that you have, then a lot of people are going to want to come check it out. So for example, you don't want to say, hey, Chaos meets every single Wednesday night. Come on out this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Well, a new visitor has no idea what Chaos is, right? So instead, just say our high school ministry meets every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll see you there. I recently came across a church that on their homepage was talking about Sparkle and Illuminate. But guess what? I'm a potential new visitor. I have no idea what Sparkle and Illuminate are. Now, after I read for several pages and clicked through some links, I finally found out that Sparkle was their annual women's event that was coming up, and Illuminate was the name of their missions department. But why not opt for clarity? If you want to name the event Sparkle, go for it. But when you're talking about on your website to potential visitors, you need to say, our women's event is coming up in 3 weeks. Right? Or say, hey, our missions department is raising money for Peru. You don't have to change the name of your ministries or your events, but you do have to realize that clarity is more important. And so when you're talking about them to people outside of your church, don't go for cute or clever, go for clarity. All right, so before I get to my last point, make sure to like and subscribe. We're putting out brand new videos, brand new fresh content on how to reach people, how to increase your impact, and how to grow your church every single day, 5 days a week. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and press that little bell so you get notified every single time we drop a new video. All right, and finally, number 3, comfort is the currency you pay in exchange for growth. Now, I personally believe that if you're not currently involved in the hardest thing you've ever done, then you're probably not growing. So if you want to promote your church, increase your impact, and reach new people, then you have to constantly do hard things and put yourself in uncomfortable situations as a leader, because you have to level up yourself as a leader. You have to constantly be learning new things and developing yourself, because the moment you stop learning is the moment you stop leading. You have to learn to be okay with being uncomfortable, because it's only at the edge of our ability that we begin to expand our capacity. So if you like this video and you want to learn some strategic frameworks for how you can use social media to grow your church, then click on the link below and head on over to churchgrowthagency.com. We'll see you soon.